Excuse me, we'll invite questions very briefly. You can ask questions in either language. Wolof, Pulaar, Sarahule,
yeah.
any other language, English if you prefer, or Mandinka. But be brief, and we're not going to stay long, we're not taking more than 5 questions. Yes. Identify yourself. You cannot have 3 questions, you can have 1 question. There are others who want to ask questions. But you can have 1 question. Identify yourself and ask 1 question. Not more than 5 questions, we close, we pray.
Good evening. My name is Keba Jefam. I write for Foreign Newspaper. Mr. Dabo, Mr. Ba, and Mr. Fadi, you are here to tell people that you people, you are organizing a joint press conference here. Okay, my worry is, and my concern is, there was a press conference that was convened on Friday by Halifa Saleh, and then the reason he gave, the options he gave, this tactical option, tactical alliance is part of the option that he gave, and you also said the same thing. What is the difference, that split you people apart? What is the difference? Because the option he gave us, the option, allow me. The option he gave us today, and the option Salah gave us on that day, is all the same. That is tactical government, tactical alliance. I have him on record. And can I proceed with my next question?
Okay, go ahead. Jefan, go ahead.
Mr. Fadi, you did say that coalition cannot contest. You did say coalition cannot contest election. Yeah, you did say coalition cannot contest election. And because there's no legal binding, it cannot contest election. And then we've seen that it was coalition that pulled down the former regime of government. And the parties have resigned from their parties to contest. You understand? The parties have resigned and they went to the poll. You understand? Yes. The president has resigned. Allow me. The president has resigned from his party. Would it be possible? Why not? What makes it impossible for other parties also to resign? For other candidates of the election of these National Assembly members to resign and join and be on the coalition ticket? Why that, please?
Let me answer the last question.
Mr. Jefang, yes, I've answered the first question. I'm not sure whether you were the one who reported the proceedings of that press conference in the Foreign newspaper. I'm not sure whether you were the one who. Well, if you reported it, then you didn't understand what you reported. Because your report, what you reported was that the quote-unquote, the spokesperson talked about the position of UDP, NRP, as being that of tactical alliance. And he concluded, in your own statement, he concluded that what they are advocating for is independent. So that is the marked difference. While we say all should be tactical on a base of tactical alliance, they say on the base of independence. So there is a whole lot of difference in them. Please. You have asked a question.
Mr. Doim military.
Mr. Jefferson, please. Hello. Hello. Please.
Please, make it quiet, please.
Look, I would ask. I would ask members of the audience to extend respect to any person who has a question to ask. After all, they are here to clarify issues. If you don't like the question they are asking, please, that is your take on it. And he is not going to ask questions that you want him to ask. He will ask questions that he wants to ask, and he can follow up any answer that he's not satisfied with. So, Mr. Jifang, what you reported clearly shows that Mr. Salah and his group favor independent candidates and not tactical alliance candidates, while we favor tactical alliance candidates and not independent candidates. That is the difference. We presented both platforms and said that this is the best platform. They presented the two platforms and said that independent platform is the best platform, which we disagree with. And that is why we have convened this press conference to show the reasons and give the reasons why those new experiments in political alliances that is being introduced or is being proposed is not feasible, is not viable, is not efficient, is not effective. I'm saying that what is going to happen if the Gambians embrace that idea, they will fall on the same path as they did in 2006 when they disregarded my advice and they went their way, and then it caused the political parties absolute havoc. My friend here, Mr. Ba, has not been able to regain his seat since then. And these are the pitfalls that we are going to avoid. You want Mr. Jallo and Mr. Gay to lose their seats in National Assembly, who in his right thinking say that they should contest as independent candidates when they are sitting members of the National Assembly. Why would they go and be nominated on an independent ticket? Don't you people rationalize? Don't you people see the illogicality of it? Don't you people see the resignation? When you talked about Adam Barrow, that is one constituency. And that is the constituency of the Gambia. It is the entire vote cast in every constituency in Gambia that was tallied and counted. And it was a result of the totals acquired from all those constituencies that made Adam Barrow. But this is a different thing. 53 constituencies. If the coalition, it will be 53 independent candidates. It's illogical, it's ineffective, it's inefficient. And I would ask those people, the advocates of that platform, to rethink that it is in fact not in accord with any political theory.
Mr. Jifang, I will answer your question. Your question had to do with Adam Barrow. His Excellency President Adam Barrow was elected on an independent ticket, and you indicated if that could succeed, why should all of us not resign? All political parties resign from their parties and contest as independent. One, I will tell you, if every candidate resigns from their political party, you are calling for the death of parliamentary democracy. Number two, you need to understand that there is a fundamental difference between presidential elections and National Assembly elections. Presidential election is nationwide. Parliamentary election is local. It is always local. There is a great difference. People have voted for a presidential candidate, but voted against their National Assembly member. People have voted for their National Assembly member and voted against the president, because parliamentary election is always local. So you need to understand that. Now you should also understand that Adam Barrow had to resign from the UDP, but he was supported by political parties, none of whose members resigned from their political parties. And when he contested as such, it was Adam Barrow as the candidate supported by the coalition. Here we are saying the same sense. The same thing that happened to Adam Barrow was tactical in fact. It is tactical in spirit. What is the tactical spirit there? Everybody went through a process, and at the end of that process, gave way for one person. Gave way for one person, and everybody supported that individual. We are saying the same thing here. Party A is putting up a candidate in constituency B because that party A is stronger in constituency B. Everybody else support that candidate. That is the same formula that was used in the presidential elections. It is the modalities that differ. It is the same coalition spirit. The modalities is what differ. But it is no way a deviation from the coalition. I want you to understand that.
One more question. Yes. For this, what's your name? Identify yourself.
I'm Abdullah Jordan with the Associated President Agency. On December 1st, Gambians voted for the coalition in 2016, and they also voted for unity. And we all know, in the light of what we have said during the press conference, it seems that the essence of any political organization is to ensure its own survival through the political arena. And do you think that it is tactical to expose your divisions? And have you reached a point of no return?
You see, the skeptics can never be convinced. Those who do not support the tactical alliance will never be convinced. After all, we are not preaching disunity, we are preaching unity. You may disagree with our proposal, but it is not one that is creating disunity, and even not to talk of a point of no return. In December, yes, people voted, they were united, and of course now we are also proposing a united front. Why, if the elections, if the presidential elections and the National Assembly elections were to be governed by the same rules and procedures, why was that not crafted in October? After all, when NAD was formed, everything was discussed, from nomination of presidential candidates, selection of presidential candidates, to selection of National Assembly members, to selection of area council government candidates. Why was that not done this time? Because they left it to the matter to be discussed. And now the matter is to be discussed, and we put up the most viable proposition, not a proposition that is creating disunity.
Let me add something. In fact, let me add something to that. We did not go to the press to inform the Gambian people that orders are not with us, portraying the picture as if we are out of the coalition. Thank you.
Well, my name is Parliamentary from Parliamentary. I have a question for Mr. Fashi. You try to convince Gambians that the three political parties here today, the tactical approach is the best move towards between April 6 elections when you only play out of a possible 8. What happened during your meeting? Are you telling us that you could not convince the other 5?
Sir,
What you have to understand, I made it very clear. At first, discussions were ongoing. I was part of that discussion. In fact, we supported that we should all go together, a full coalition. I was under misapprehension. What we understood and what it was made to be were two different things. And that is why we believe the only practical avenue on the current exigency, the only practical avenue on the current exigency is tactical alliance. That is what is practical. Politics is all about practicality. In politics, you want to go by theory, you will fail for 30 years, and you'll fail for another 30 years. Politics is not about theory, it's about reality, real life. You're dealing with the lives of people. You have to look at the objective local circumstance and understand what is possible and practical at the relevant time. In December and October last year, it was necessary for us to come together and put up one independent candidate. That was what was practical. That was the demand of the time. Now we are going into a parliamentary election. You have to understand the dynamics at play. You have to understand the political infrastructure. If you misconceive it, you are going to hand over a well-fought victory of December 1 into the dogs, with all due respect. So it is not a question of convincing anybody. It is a question of being realistic and being honest to yourself and be committed to defending the presidency that Gambian people brought into effect on December 1. And I told you that we are three here publicly unveiling the tactical alliance imperative. But I gave you in my first speech, short speech, that others will join us. And you will see that unfolding. I know why I'm saying this, because I'm convinced that this tactical alliance will expand. Thank you.
My name is Realism. I'm here for IFA TV. My question is, why did you include this tactical? Why did you include this first agreement you agreed upon? If someone regarded it as confidence during the presidential election?
Time was on our side. We felt it was important to deal with the presidential election and deal with this later, and that's what we are doing now.
My name is Abba from the Voice newspaper. I want to know how many candidates so far do you present in the big party present in the tactical alliance?
Our party is already presenting 50 candidates out of the 53, but we are willing to negotiate and indeed make deals with others.
Of course, when elections were announced, everybody expected the United Democratic Party to put up 53 candidates in 53 constituencies. And this is what the United Democratic Party is going to do. And I expect GMC to do likewise, and then we go and see how in the process, they're like, okay, GMC, no, you leave this place for me, UDP, you leave that place for me. I think, you expect us to contest for 53.
Gentleman at the back, come closer.
For the GMC, 53. Honorable leader of the United Democratic Party and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperations and Governments Abroad, we also intend to put up a candidate in all of the constituencies in the Gambia. But of course, this will be subject to negotiation. And we will not be bickering and fighting. You will see a model of unity. You will see what will reflect the collective aspiration of Gambians and the demand of the times.
Thank you. Give him. No, after he is you.
My name is Alam Sanan. I'm from the Family Network. Mr. Labo, my question to you is, I want to know your reaction. It has been said that when Dabo was out, it was difficult to achieve a coalition. When he went to jail, it was impossible to have a coalition. After when he came out again, that's possible to have a coalition again. Two is that also, this tactical alliance seems not a betrayal to the current President Adama Barrow's coalition government. And three is that I wanted to know what is your reaction that those who say that they are power hungry too.
Well, let me say that my presence or absence has never affected UDP's approach to United Front. After all, the United Democratic Party is not personified by Hussein Dabo, nor is Hussein Dabo the personification of the United Democratic Party. The United Democratic Party functions as an institution. It takes decisions as an institution, and the decisions of the United Democratic Party were taken as an institution. And indeed, to show that the United Democratic Party is an institution is attested by the fact that 11 of its executive members, 9 of them national officers, we are all in prison, and yet the party continues to function. So it is neither the presence nor the absence of Mr. Dabo that determines UDP's decision. UDP decides and considers issues, and on the merits, it takes the decision. Now, those people, who are really, who want to deflect people from the realities, who want to be diversionary in the approach to things, are the ones who are peddling about that, yes, the coalition was possible in the absence of Mr. Dabo, and if he had been here, it wouldn't have been possible. If I take you back to history a little bit, there were times in the executive meeting of the United Democratic Party when members of the executive took their stand and said, this is what our party has to do, and you have no choice in it. And I had no choice but to implement their decision. So we want to disabuse anybody's mind. In fact, those people with ill will, their minds should be disabused about the fact that United Democratic Party is controlled by Hussein Dabo. If it was controlled by Hussein Dabo, the party would definitely have withered away during the 8-9 months that I was in incarceration. Now, the issue that I want to betray Adama Barrow, well, this tactical alliance cannot be one of betrayal. You see, we are so supportive of Adama Barrow that we decided to take up executive positions in the cabinet. If we did not support him, if we want to betray him, we would not have taken any appointment. We would be outside, bickering. Have you ever heard Hussein Dabo raise his voice in public about the way this government is being run? It has never happened and it will never happen. That shows my commitment and my loyalty to Adama Barrow and to the coalition that elected Adama Barrow to the presidency, and to the Gambian people who voted Adama Barrow as president of this country. Look, Adama Barrow, if you let us be realistic, Adama Barrow's home is UDP. Why would I betray my own? Why would I betray my own? So these are really, again, people who are mischievous, and they cannot stop at anything, and will do anything really to not to derail, but to paint me in bad light, as Mr. Bah has said. They are on the internet saying all sorts of, but it doesn't bother me. They can say hundreds of things, thousands of things. That is what they did when NAD was in formation. They went on the media, on the social media, said all sorts of things against me, and at the end of the day, I was proven right when they all lost their seats in National Assembly. And I tell you, we have an honorable gentleman here, Alaj MC Cham, he's here. They prevailed on me, himself and Hassan Musa Kamara, not to leave NAD until the by-elections we are gone through, because they suspected that if I left, it would have been politically disastrous to NAD. And I decided to remain, even though they knew that I was in support of it. But Honorable Hassan Musa Kamara and MC Cham, they prevailed on don't resign from NAD until the by-elections are over. So I had to save the situation. Now, power hungry, well, that's what they say. Well, I have always said that the United Democratic Party was formed by people, by a group of people, and they asked me to lead. I never formed a party. But what is important, what I want you people to realize is that those who are advocating that Adama Barrow's term must be 3 years, or is 3 years, are the ones who are power hungry. The Constitution provides that he should serve for 5 years. You are saying that he must serve 3 years. So you want him to clear the way for you so that you can become president. They are the power hungry people. They are the people who cannot wait for 5 years. They say, let us serve him for 3 years so that Adama Barrow gets out of the way and we become president. They are the power hungry people.
question is, wasn't this tactical alliance included in the coalition talks? I mean, the UDP and NRP are the biggest, political parties, apart from the APRC. So to say, within the coalition, UDP and NRP are the biggest. So my question is, if the UDP and NRP present a proposal, a sort of a tactical alliance, this proposal within the coalition, should it dominate the coalition? If there is a proposal for tactical alliance within the coalition framework, should it dominate the talks? And another question is, you just said those who are advocating that the president has prepared the way, after 2 years. 2 years was what was written in the memorandum. My question is, are you saying that the president has sustained for 5 years instead of the 3 years that was agreed? And sorry, one for Mr. Ba. Mr. Ba, the statement you read said you're going to consider the biggest party in every constituency and the marketability of the candidates, so that you're going to present one candidate, you're not going to oppose each other. We have less than a week before the nominations close, and you're still undecided, still not done with the talks. My question is, how do you determine which party is bigger, and how do you determine the marketability of candidates in each constituency? Thank you.
Very good. That's a mature question.
Well, yes, your first question, whether the issue of tactical alliance was discussed at the coalition. Of course, it was discussed, and that is why Mr. Sala, who I must say was speaking on behalf of some members, or on behalf of some political parties, not on behalf of the entire coalition, because what he was stating was not on behalf of UDP, GMC. Not on behalf of GMC or NRP. The proposal we have put forward there, and it was rejected. And that is why they are going around the country saying that UDP, NRP, that is what they have said now, and they will include GMC, have still to join. We have never been out of the coalition, much more to talk of joining. We have always been in the coalition, and nobody has expelled us from the coalition, and nobody has the authority or the competence to expel us from the coalition. We can only live voluntarily. And I must say that until there is a conclusion that we can no longer agree, it was then that it would be proper for anybody to go out and put to the nation that this is the situation, and because of that, parties are going on their different ways. But we had to call it in order to disabuse people's minds. The proper thing was to wait until at the conclusion of the negotiations, and when there is apparently no agreement, that is the time that anybody should come out to make a statement. And we probably would have designated someone to make a statement, or in fact one of the co-chair to make the statement, because we have two chairpersons who preside over our meetings. They would be the appropriate persons to come and make the statements. So your other question was? Yeah. Now, you see, we have fought Jammeh on the ground that he does not respect the laws of this country. We have fought Jammeh on the ground that he does not respect the constitution of this country. You want to remove Jammeh so that you can put in place a good and workable constitutional order. You can have laws that are friendly to the population. How can you start your crusade by violating the Constitution? The Constitution prescribes that you elect a president. When you went to the polls, you elected a president for 5 years. Is it your agreement with Mahdi Cisse that will jettison those constitutional provisions and then in place put you on the... that would be atrocious. Anybody who thinks that way, I think the thinking would be very morbid, and I do not think that anyone in his right mind, anyone who knows how the constitution of this country works, will advocate that Mr. Barrow steps down at the end of the 3 years. I have made it known since They have gone public. I have made it known at the meetings that, look, that statement is a non-starter, and I will be the one who will challenge that in the court, the unconstitutionality of such an arrangement. Two private citizens, you get together and say, let us agree to violate the Constitution, and you accept that, and yet you want to put in place a government that will respect the Constitution, but then it has to start violating the Constitution before it can be placed. It is an irony. It is unorthodox. It is illogical and unthinkable.
Let me answer the question he asked a question. Well, thank you. I think, to be honest with you, it's not going to be a very easy task to sort out the issue of candidates regarding the coming parliamentary elections vis-a-vis the current arrangement. But I can tell you that we've gone past more difficult situations, and I have no doubt that this one also will pass it through, inshallah. Be rest assured of that. It's not going to be easy though, but we'll get over it, inshallah.
Again, I want to make it very clear, because I have to associate myself with the answers that are provided here. That is my position, and I adopt it as my own, or as our own. I want you media people to understand, and let me make it once more abundantly clear, that when you quote people, I want you to make it known that the coalition no longer has a spokesperson. Let me make it even clearer. Halifa Sallah is no longer the spokesperson of the coalition, so that you media can understand that. Honorable Halifa Sallah is the leader of DOI. He is the leader of DOI, and he can speak on behalf of DOI. We are members of the coalition. He cannot speak on our behalf. So when he speaks, I want you to understand he is speaking his own opinion or the position of his own party. But he is no longer the coalition spokesperson. So do not attribute his statements as the position of the coalition, because you will be making a mistake. Thank you. One last question. One last question. Yeah, that's the final question. Last question. Yes. That is the last question. Well, we are going. This is the last question. It is not about the media. It's about people who want to ask. You can. Anybody can ask. Everybody has the right to ask. Excuse me. Give it. Give it to him. Give it to him. Okay, come. I'm on my phone.
The press conference. I give it. Give it.
My name is Prince. We think we will carry majority in the next parliament, please. This is a question from Mr. Barr.
I can tell you that we will have an overwhelming majority by the grace of God.
Thank you.
Can we turn for the session? Silence, please. Please.
Everybody send the man to send. I'm